I'm not going to let anything dull my shine, because I have something that I believe strongly in. I believe strongly in myself, and I know it serves so many people, and I don't want to stop, doing what I know is going to serve people. She said, "Why would you use my product if you're using that?" And right then and there, it became really important to me to make sure that women don't feel threatened by someone that might seem like a competitor. I truly believe that I was meant to support a community like this, because the doctor even said within a couple of days of birth that when he was holding me, he could feel the strength. He said, "This little girl has got spirit." I came out of the womb with presence, energy, and gumption. The HeartSeat is a podcast featuring high-impact entrepreneurial women who lead with heart and turn purpose into prosperity. Each episode delivers insight-rich conversations, practical strategy, and a fresh perspective that helps you elevate your impact and lead with the kind of clarity and intention that amplifies your influence. Every conversation is designed to guide you toward a business grounded in purpose, powered by heart, and positioned for growth. Welcome to the first episode of the HeartSeat. What is the HeartSeat? It's where true conversations happen between entrepreneurial women. It's where purpose meets prosperity. HeartLink Network Women is a place where women rise because we choose to rise together. So today, on our first episode, I have someone that is so dear to my heart, both personally and professionally. Sabine Kaiser has been a part of HeartLink Network when I used to host it in my home, in my family room.
I remember.
And she has just come alongside me all of these years as not only a special friend, but a confidant, a true advisor for not only myself personally, but professionally and with HeartLink Network Women. So thank you so much for being here today, for supporting and loving HeartLink Network Women and me. I love you too.
I love you so much.
Thank you for helping us kick this off.
Of course. Thank you so much for trusting me. So actually, I flipped the script a little bit. I have a surprise for you because you trusted me so well. So I reached out to fellow members of the HeartLink community and I just asked them, what do you want to know about the founder behind the network, about our heart of the HeartLink? And let me ask you the first question. Who was Caprice before HeartLink Network Women existed?
I'll say that I absolutely came out of the gate at birth as a connector. I truly believe that I was meant to support a community like this, because the doctor even said within a couple of days of birth that when he was holding me, he could feel the strength. He said, "This little girl has got spirit." I came out of the womb with presence, energy, and gumption. And I also naturally cared about people. I remember pictures of myself literally in kindergarten. Maybe we can share that.
Yeah.
Where it looks like I'm leading a group of little girls, like women, like in the HeartLink Network Women community. So I just naturally noticed that connection was important between people, that helping people to feel heard and seen and included gave people joy and confidence. And I started I love to gather people. I love to gather women, especially. And I go back to gathering friends and schoolmates, and even in college. I founded the Organizational Communications Association at Sacramento State. And it was almost like a mini HeartLink Network Women. I knew that students, eager students, they didn't want more theory. They wanted real life experience. And so I had this club, and I would invite professionals from the community to come in and speak to the students and give them real life scenarios and information to help them build their skills and get out into the marketplace and be successful sooner than later.
So you found your purpose really early in life. like you mentioned, you came out of the womb like, I'm a connector. That's so beautiful. How did your parents help you to foster that?
I'm very fortunate to have fantastic parents that were super supportive, and they always encouraged me, and both my mom and my dad were so encouraging and supportive of anything that I attempted to do. I always attempted pretty good things. I wasn't a bad kid. And my dad especially, he had something that he did for me even through high school. He did these things for me through high school and going into college and throughout college. He would post quotes on my bulletin board in my bedroom. And they would be very encouraging, inspirational quotes from famous people, help telling me to go for what I wanted, to not be afraid of failure, to believe in myself. And I would walk into my bedroom and see a new quote on my bulletin board. When he sent me my rent check in college, he would tuck a quote into that rent check.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And then when I started my first job in the wireless telecom industry back at the first company, Pactel Cellular, I remember sitting at my computer. It was one of those tall tower Mac computers, the first ones. And I got sentimental about having this opportunity to have this new career. And I wrote a letter to my dad. And I thanked him, and I included one of my favorite quotes that he sent me, which was about the woman in the arena. It doesn't matter, it's not the critic who counts, it's the woman in the arena. And that even if you fail, you are ahead of those who never tried. And that was framed, put in his office, and he passed away a year and a half ago, and it's still in his office, and he just cherished that. So I'm a quote girl. I love quotes. I love to send quotes to people and encourage people, and that came from my dad and my mom, who is his wonderful better half.
Yeah. Kenny, your husband, and your 3 boys. So how did things change once you became a mother?
Because of that gumption, that energy, that desire to make a difference. I always had that ingrained in me from the time I was born. And I was involved in the PTA, the foundation, newsletter editor. I was fundraising, doing all that I could do to make a difference for my kids, for the kids at the school. And I also was holding down a corporate job in the wireless telecom industry. So I will have to admit, there were days that I was working and I was traveling sometimes 10 days a month.
Wow.
There were days that I forgot to pick up my kids from school because it was early out day and I was busy with my corporate job, and I will have to admit that. And I was becoming very sad that I wasn't the mom that I wanted to be, that they weren't having mom present all the time. I had a nanny that took care of them. I was relying on other moms to cart them around places, and I knew that this was not what was meant to be. And so I realized at that point, after years of doing this, they were all under the age of 7 at the time, I was able, thanks to the support also of my husband, although I was a very strong 6-figure income earner in a male-dominated industry at the time, and this was almost 20 years ago. And I was able to stay home and be with my children and focus on their health and their nutrition that I felt was lacking. And when I did that, as much as I loved being a mom, I also still had that intrinsic desire to make a difference and to do more. I couldn't just stop all of that. So I got involved in the school and I participated in all the things where I could make a difference in the school. And so that's when I realized, when I was able to leave that corporate job, that I also wanted to build a business, also to be a contributor to my family as well financially, but really more because I wanted to serve people in a bigger way. So I started a home-based business in wellness. I've been a partner with the Juice Plus company for 20 years now, because that allowed me not only to improve my family's health through better plant-based nutrition, but also to build an income and have something that I can make a difference with, that I could work around my family instead of the other way around, which is what I was doing in the corporate world.
So you were literally combining your purpose of being a connector with a new business, meaning increasing the well-being of everyone around you first, so your inner circle, your family, and then everyone else.
Exactly.
I love that. That's
It's
beautiful.
been, and I still 20 years later, absolutely love helping people with their health. I've become a master certified health coach along the journey, and the nutrition's a tool in my health coaching toolbox.
Yeah.
But I absolutely love and will always love helping people to live out their purpose longer and with more vitality, and not have to be retiring when they want to play on the ground with their grandkids or travel, and then they can't because of their lack of wellness. So that'll always be a real important part of how I show up in the world for people.
It's not always about longevity. It's more about how long you live with a certain lifestyle and with the ability to walk, to be active, and so on. I love that you're helping with that. Tell us a little bit more about Juice Plus. Why do you love the product so much?
When I was searching for the right supplements, the supplements that I felt were right for my family, there was too much to wade through. We go to the store anywhere from Whole Foods, even when we know they're better, to GNC. It was overwhelming. I didn't know what to choose. I wasn't able to read labels at the time, so I had to trust, and I didn't feel right about it until I learned about this concentrated plant product. And when I realized that it was a nutrition label, not a supplement label, and that the research was independent in human blood proving that it improved heart health, it improved immune function, lowered inflammation, improved brain health. When I saw that the statistics proved that more plant-based nutrition improves health, that's when I chose it. And when I started to notice improvements in not only my kids' health, getting sick less, never having an earache again, not having that constant in and out of school cycle because you're recatching colds and things like that. My husband and I had improvements in our health that were noticeable. I realized it wasn't a supplement we needed, it's more plants. And so this was just a vehicle to make it very simple to get more micronutrients from plants in our bodies.
Going back to the role as a connector, when did networking really enter your life and how?
I started that business in wellness, and I decided I needed to meet more people. I wanted to listen and learn who needed support with their health. So that's when I discovered networking. And I was attending networking co-ed groups, which serve their purpose. I did not feel this deeper connection until I stumbled upon an organization that was offering women's only networking. And this organization was warm, receiving everyone, genuinely supporting one another. And I realized at that moment that this is where I belong. This is that community of women that I've been gathering my whole life. And this is where I belong. And I actually have a mentor, Dawn Billings, who started that organization. And I became a leader in her chapter for many, many years. And it was well received. At the time, there were very few women's networking communities. And so it grew really fast. It attracted a lot of women who actually, in that first meeting I was in, it was like a ticker went across my forehead. That this is a high integrity community of entrepreneurial women with a mutual respect and a genuine desire to support one another. And I hadn't felt that in any other networking group. So fast forward, Dawn retired. That organization was no longer. And we were talking, and she basically gave me the blessing. There was nothing to sell. There was nothing that still existed in her organization. But she wanted me to carry on the legacy. And I decided to do that. And 3 years ago, founded HeartLink Network Women.
Thank you so much for sharing this. And it's a beautiful story because she saw your purpose right away. So how did HeartLink Network Women evolve into what it is today?
Experience and desire. You know, for the last 17 years, I've been gathering business women, entrepreneurial women, every single month for close to 20 years now, if you consider the gatherings with the Juice Plus company, because I've always inspired healthy living, and I'm still doing that today. sourdough workshops. I still do one of those a month to inspire healthy living. And I do that just because I really get so much joy out of that. And so I had a lot of experiences, positive, super positive experiences leading a chapter in her organization over many years. And then prior to that, I was hosting a growing group in my home every single month, sometimes twice a month. I think you were there.
Yeah, I remember this. Yeah, it was
and
really
it got
nice.
to the point
in your
where,
kitchen with your dog and everything. It was beautiful.
And it got to the point where people were standing in my kitchen, standing in the doorways. There was not a single space left for a human to stand.
Yeah.
And then 2020 came and we went straight to virtual. And so we were able to maintain the community. What I loved about 2020 was that nobody could understand how to get on Zoom before then. And then suddenly everybody knew how to get on Zoom. So but the other thing I loved about it is that it allowed me and everyone to really get to know the person, the you behind your business. I call that the you factor. And sometimes you would have someone's child run in the room and give their dad a kiss on the cheek. Or the dog runs in. Maybe they pick them up and show. You got to see real people in their real environment. And I loved that. In 2021, I could really feel the angst, people wanting to get back in person. And that's when HeartLink Network Women, the concept was born, and my chapter elevated, because I hadn't founded HeartLink Network Women yet. I was still running my existing chapter. But at that point, it elevated, because I knew that we had grown too large and we had attracted too many women who really wanted to be in a public, more professional space. And I moved to a country club, and that really kicked off the next generation of HeartLink Network Women and started the whole brainchild that then began in 2022 when I founded HeartLink Network Women. So it was a brand new organization, no correlation to the old organization, a wonderful organization that Dawn Billings created, other than the name. And we have just exploded since then, as far as just more amazing women joining, more deep, meaningful connections. That's always really been one of the things that I think HeartLink Network has really spearheaded in the beginning, when there were so few women's networking communities, that we always talked about the more meaningful connections, the deeper connections, that true desire to support one another, women who really have each other's back from a business standpoint and personal. I've seen BFFs be born out of HeartLink Network Women. I've seen collaborations, I've seen partnerships, I've seen many clients, and so much just blossom out of being involved with HeartLink Network Women.
Very good. And actually, I have a video surprise for you.
Oh.
Yeah, from Erica.
Oh.
And she's someone who really wanted to thank you. And why don't we watch it together?
Okay.
Hi, Caprice. Congratulations on your new podcast. You're starting 2026 off with a great platform for the HeartLink Network Women's community. I personally would like to say thank you. I met you last year, not knowing anybody, and you held my hand and you connected me to a whole new community of support and love and friendship. And for that, I'm forever grateful. You personally have helped me go further than I ever thought I could in 1 year with my own inner connections and my outer connections. I'm wishing you the best 2026 year, Caprice, and looking forward to being part of your community for a lifetime.
Erica is the best. Oh, really? That was beautiful, and really showed how much you are the heart of HeartLink. So this is actually perfect for my next question I received. What do you encourage women to do when they show up at a luncheon or at a Zoom meeting? How can they show up, and what should they do?
Well, number one, as themselves.
Yeah.
because authenticity, it's become a trend. Authenticity, it's important. HeartLink Network Women always encourage authenticity. And so you want to be you. You want to help people get to know the you behind your business. That's what differentiates an entrepreneur. There's thousands of people that offer the same thing that I offer. I have to let them in and let them get to know who is Caprice, who is the person, my passion, the way I show up, the way I approach my business, my personality. I mean, that's what attracts someone. I could sell anything, or you could sell anything, if people get to know the you behind your business. And that's what naturally builds trust.
You said once, and I remember this so clearly, you said, be interested, not interesting. What did you mean by that?
I would love to give credit for where I heard that from many, many, many years ago, but it became a mantra for me. And I intentionally use that phrase when I walk into a room, because we can accidentally, unintentionally, just, I call it vomiting all of our benefits, all of our things, what they might be able to use. A lot of people do that unintentionally. And when I keep that phrase in my head, be more interested than interesting, it makes the person you're speaking with feel heard, feel seen, feel understood. And at the same time, it also helps me or anybody going to a networking event really learn more about that person, so that you can then understand what their needs are. Because we can't automatically expect that every person is going to need what you have. And that leads me to one of our core values in HeartLink Network Women. We complete, not compete. And that's something that years and years ago, I had an experience with another networking group, and I was sitting next to someone who was also in health and wellness, and she shared her product with me. And I said, I love that product. I use it all the time. And I shared my wellness product with her, and she actually was taken aback. She said, why would you use my product if you're using that? And right then and there, it became really important to me to make sure that women don't feel threatened by someone that might seem like a competitor. I encourage everyone to invite people in your industry to lunch or a Zoom and get to know where you complement one another. Yeah, I use so many wellness products. My husband jokes with me that I don't collect purses and shoes. I collect health and wellness products.
I can
but
relate
my
to
goal
that.
is to live really long with vitality, and so I can serve my purpose as long as I possibly can.
Yes. So it's a lot about collaboration, right? So how does collaboration show up inside of HeartLink?
I see that all the time, and I love social media for the positive parts about it. Over the years, I have celebrated and elevated women in our social media spaces. And it's so fun to see when people start to have a collaboration where they've become BFFs, where they do an event together, or they've met for coffee and they've provided referrals, or they've given a shout out to somebody whose product or service they've used. All of those things are so important to be able to share. And that's why I find social media spaces valuable, when you use them in that positive way. And I always encourage women to show up in digital spaces, whether it's Facebook groups, show up in the online spaces as if you walked into a physical luncheon. I would not walk by somebody in person with a thumbs up.
No.
I would say hello. I would engage with them. I would congratulate them on something they shared with me. I would be curious. I would be more interested than interesting, so I could make them feel heard. And so I encourage women, treat it the same way when you're in the HeartLink Network Women Facebook community or any other community. Engage with commentary, have dialogue. The walking by with a thumbs up isn't a great way to create meaningful relationships that are going to lead to collaboration.
And I witness this over the years all the time, especially for newcomers. And I have to say, women are driving sometimes 2 to 3 hours to attend one of your luncheons, to make meaningful connections and so on. So is there any, how should I say it? Did you witness one time something really special and meaningful happened, which is still like for you, like, oh, I have it in my head, like it was yesterday?
Yeah. Actually, just recently, it was at our Christmas party.
Yeah.
And there was someone who came who's been a long time HeartLinker, hadn't come for a while, conflicts, other things happening. And she got a sense that she needed to be at the party, which was a luncheon. It was a modified luncheon for HeartLink Network Women. And she came. She's very intuitive, so she followed her intuition. And when she got there, she immediately knew why she was there. She connected with someone she had met many years before and hadn't seen in a very long time. And it was something that was truly special to her. I see things like that happen all the time, not just meeting someone. I mean, for her, she reconnected with a meaningful relationship that now she can continue. But there's been so much business. I've been told so many times that true referrals come from HeartLink Network Women because the trust happens faster. And when you know, like, and trust someone, it's like they're in your back pocket. You keep them in your back pocket, and then you start to naturally recommend and refer when you hear someone has a need. And that only comes from trust. And so that's why I encourage people, if you come once, come again.
Yeah.
Come again, because each time you're going to deepen those relationships, meet a new person to start creating a relationship with, deepen those. And over time, my goal is that all of the women have at least many other women in their back pocket to pull out when they can serve someone.
What Erica just pointed out when we watched her video was that you always include your coaching abilities into the luncheon as well. You are very selective with the speakers and always try to find really topics which serves the community so well. So how do you make sure that you always find the right people and find the right topics?
I have a sense, being around women for such a long time, being in business for such a long time. I mean, going back to the Organizational Communications Association that I founded in college, I know that there's different areas of business, whether it be marketing, whether it be social media, whether it be relationships, whether it be tech, whatever it is. I have a keen sense of what people need, and also because I've heard women talking about what they need. And so we're very fortunate. We have a membership, and we've got really incredible women in the membership. So we give opportunities to our members to grace the HeartLink Network stage. And I truly feel that way when there's I mean, you've spoken a couple of times at least, within our community at our conference last September.
Yes.
And I really do admire the women, and I feel like I'm fortunate because these women are gracing our stage. And so we choose the members first. So we invite professional women, entrepreneurial women, women who support nonprofits. That's another area that we really want to even get more involved in. We recently in September at our Success Conference supported Curate Foundation, and that foundation was brought to us by one of our members. And so we learn about these great causes and are able to give back. And I feel like we're helping entrepreneurial women grow so they can be more successful, make more money. And we also have an obligation to also serve others that may need support.
So you mentioned membership. So this is pretty new to the HeartLink network. So tell us a little bit more about the membership and what are your plans for the next year and maybe 2 to 3 years?
So the membership was always day one a priority. And I had to discover the right team members, the perfect team members to help bring all this together. And I've been really fortunate since I founded this to have an amazing development team on the web development where it's required work, pretty much constant work for the last few years. So thank you, Steve, and Planet Link. And, the finance people, the advisors. I mean, you've been an incredible advisor for HeartLink Network Women. The chapter directors, I cannot forget the chapter directors. We have 5 chapters right now, and the chapter directors are phenomenal. I'm so grateful because they created the footprint for us, to be out there beyond just, my South Orange County chapter. And they're incredible leaders. And they'll be doing more, bigger things with HeartLink Network as we go forward. So we had to create the foundation of HeartLink Network Women before we could launch the membership. So LEAP has been a perfect word for this year. The leaps were made successfully. We launched our membership. We've got a few different levels of membership. All the members have additional benefits of being members. And there are things as far as more visibility. That's huge for us. We really want our members to be seen. We want our members to have the opportunity to meet more people. And my goal is to have the people coming to them. I've interviewed over 100 entrepreneurial women and asked them, if you could double or triple your income in the next year, what would be stopping you? And 9 out of 10 times they say, I don't know how to reach more people. I don't know. I'm always chasing my next client. And with HeartLink Network Women, we don't want you to be chasing your next client. We want clients to be coming to you. And I didn't even mention the chapter directors. The chapter directors, we have 5 now, and they are phenomenal. I hope that we will have them on in the HeartSeat at some point so you can meet them. The leaders are benefiting because the leaders that are attracted have purpose, they have heart, and they also have strategy, because you can't be a leader and just want to help people. You've got to have the other marketing hat on, where it is beneficial for an entrepreneur to be a leader because now they've got influence in their community. They're perceived as a leader in the community. And I call it the other door that people walk into relationship with you. Again, it's all about relationship. And when you're providing a space for entrepreneurs to grow, like I said before, we all grow because we choose to grow together. And when you're a leader and you're serving people that way, they're coming to you. So it's that door that people walk into relationship with you. And I'm so blessed to have great chapter directors. So we're expanding this year. So the word this year is fulfillment. Fulfilling the promises, delivering on what we've built and growing the organization. So that means more chapter directors, more members, and continuing to deliver more vehicles to give entrepreneur women more visibility, more exposure, more skill building. We have a lot of skill building, master classes. We have virtual networking. We just launched our online directory at heartlinknetwork.com. It's so fun to see the faces of our members showing up in the directory. And we have a blog. So we'll have member blogging that's going to increase their SEO. And these links can be shared everywhere, not only by us as an organization, but by the members and their associates and friends. So we just have so much planned, including the HeartSeat. I mean, this is really a important time for HeartLink Network Women.
Why was it now the right time to launch the HeartSeat? Why now?
I always wanted to have my own TV show.
Yeah.
I remember being in New York at the Ted Turner Studios, and they had this set like this, and you could pay to read the teleprompter and pretend you were a newscaster. And I never forgot that. I never forgot that experience. I thought, one day I'm going to do that. I miss my calling as a newscaster, but this is a dream come true. And I have to thank California Talk Studios and Raleigh and Bernard, who own this amazing studio with multiple studio rooms. We have been treated like queens, and,
That's true.
and they've taken such good care of us. And so in September, Raleigh and his team, they were our video crew at the HeartLink Network Success Conference. And I knew Raleigh. I met him through a dear friend from HeartLink. So he was a referral from HeartLink, and met him probably 5 years ago. It was in those early days right after 2020 when we went outside of my home. And Raleigh is just one of the kindest hearted people I know.
He's the best.
He's so giving. And I decided I wanted to come see the studio, because the studio this one is fairly new. It's a new upgraded version of what he had before. And I was so impressed. I literally walked into this building, and screens with my face on it with an amazing digital marketing campaign were everywhere. And they just really set it up well to show you that their service is key and the professionalism is key. So when I came, super impressed, he and I just immediately brainstormed on this. Right away, we had this collaboration that started immediately. And within that, I think 15, 20 minutes, we came up with the HeartSeat.
Yeah. And the logo.
They created the logo. They created all these digital assets. The HeartSeat is a takeoff on the hot seat.
Yeah.
Most entrepreneurs are familiar with the hot seat. And the HeartSeat just, it fell right into place. And it's been 4 months in the making, and here we are today.
It's beautiful. So that was your hot seat at the HeartSeat. So how was it for you?
Today?
Yes.
Well, it's great. He actually bought these chairs for us.
I know.
He did. I mean, it's wonderful. I feel like it definitely is a
safe space.
Well, it's a safe space.
Absolutely.
It's also the next generation of
Yeah.
HeartLink Network Women. I always knew that we were going to have a podcast, because I used to, and this is a TV show, really. I used to, for years, do live stream Zooms into Facebook to celebrate and elevate the women that came to my local chapter before HeartLink Network Women existed. And I would do these 2 or 3 times a month just to give women the stage to share who they were and how they showed up in the world to serve others with their gifts and talents. That's what I would always say. And then something changed with Zoom and Facebook, and I couldn't figure out how to do that anymore. So this is definitely the next best thing. It's a 10x of that.
We have another video from Mitzi. So let's have a look.
Hi there, Caprice. It's Mitzi from Happy Cooking. I just wanted to say I love being part of HeartLinks. I think you've done an amazing job with this networking group. My question to you is, what skills do you think are most critical to have for women in business today? And also, what habits and routines have been most helpful to you being a women leader in business?
First and foremost, an entrepreneurial woman needs to be committed. And if you're an entrepreneur watching, you've likely seen the life of an entrepreneur chart, where some days you are on a high because you just did the greatest thing that resulted in the best result you could ever ask for. And then the next day you're questioning why in the heck you're doing this and why, I messed up, I'm not good enough, all those self-worth issues that sometimes bubble up. And so staying committed to your goal, that belief in yourself, is so important, because you're going to have a lot of those days, and you just have to, kind of breathe deeply, like my friend Ann Mennick, Essential Ann would say.
Oh yeah.
And just recalibrate and just know that you're not going to let anything dull your shine. That's another thing a mantra I've always said. There's been times when it might be something someone says, or maybe you made a mistake, but I'm not going to let anything dull my shine, because I have something that I believe strongly in. I believe strongly in myself, and I know it serves so many people, and I don't want to stop, doing what I know is going to serve people. So that commitment's really important. Being a woman of your word so they're not so much skills, because as you scale in your entrepreneurship and your business, you're going to be depending on other people to be exhibiting those skills. You don't have to have all the skills. You have to have a vision, a belief, commitment, be a woman of your word, and desire to serve others. That's what creates a successful business for an entrepreneurial woman.
And I think a little bit of resilience, right?
Absolutely. Well, that's the
up and down the roller
and having
coaster.
to dust yourself off and just know, look,
Another round.
I'm going to keep going.
Another round. But this is the beauty of being an entrepreneur as well. Yeah.
It's fun.
Absolutely. You're so right.
It definitely builds you as a human being.
Yeah.
And this also, is a great example for your family. I started doing this business when my kids were young. And even though I felt that sometimes, I wasn't as present as I would have liked to be, I get signs and signals from them every day. They're all in their 20s now, that show me that I was a great example to my boys, and that they learned from me about how to be resilient, how to stand behind your word, how to stick with things, even if it seems hard. And so I couldn't be more grateful to have taken this entrepreneurial journey personally as well as professionally.
Do you think that the fails are as equally important as the wins?
Oh, absolutely. That goes back to the Theodore Roosevelt quote that my dad sent me about, it's not about the critic. It's not the critic who counts. Yeah. It's the woman. It actually said the man, but I say the woman in the arena. And that even if you fail, you tried. And those failures teach you something every single time. So that's a mindset that's really important as an entrepreneur, is to not kick yourself when you're down or when something didn't go right. Dust yourself off. Know that, figure out, what did I learn from this situation, and try again. And that was thanks to my dad, that quote that he sent me with my rent check back in my early 20s.
Do you remember a situation or a time when you had to pivot, besides changing lanes and saying, like, I'm stepping in more as a mother, just from recent years, where you say, I learned a lot, this was a fail kind of, which I turned into a win or into a new strategy, new vision?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I did that we all did in 2020, right?
Yeah.
I went immediately. I didn't hesitate. I knew that we still needed to have women together.
Yeah.
And I went right into the virtuals without hesitation. I started to use the online Zoom as a platform for women to grace the HeartLink stage, through those live stream Zooms that I was doing. It also happens, probably on the weekly. I mean, we're all making decisions every single day. They can't all be good ones, right? So I'm pivoting on a weekly basis. In fact, it just happened the other day. I think another really important skill for entrepreneurs is to be a really great listener.
Yeah.
And to not get offended, but instead think, okay, what could I do that could have made that different? And that just happened recently. It was just this very small, minor thing. But I took that feedback and I thought to myself, how would I do that differently in the future? And so these things are, I think, probably a day-to-day, some weeks, for most entrepreneurs to do a little pivoting or shifting based on your experiences.
Do you have rituals? Because this was part of the question as well. Do you have special rituals which help you to define your new strategy on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, you name it? But are there rituals and habits which really help you?
For me, prayer is one of those. I actually have a routine. It's a newer one that I'm super consistent with, and that's not touching my phone first thing in the morning, like I have done for years, checking on what's happening today. I take a walk, take a breath of fresh air, many breaths of fresh air. I could breathe more deeply. And at the end of my walk, I have a beautiful view where I live right now on the rooftop. And so I go to a certain spot and I pray and I ask for wisdom and guidance and good decision making and opportunities that where I can help more people. That's one ritual. The other ritual is just seeking support from my advisors, because as an entrepreneur, you can't do things in a silo. You can only grow and scale when you bring your trusted confidants in, like you are, for me. And I think that it's really important when you feel that maybe you need to shift, that you tap into someone else's wisdom.
I can tell you it was a true pleasure. Thank you for sharing everything you told us today. And let's do it again. Yeah. Maybe in 12 months?
No, maybe next week.
Okay, very good. But no, the two of us also, you have to come back and tell us maybe next year what's up for the next year. That would be amazing.
I would love that.
And thank you so much for everything you are doing for this community. You heard it yourself. Everyone loves you. Everyone appreciates you so much. So thank you for being the heart of HeartLink Network. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us on the HeartSeat. If today's conversation offered clarity or sparked something meaningful for you, please share it with entrepreneurs ready to build lasting success, the kind created with purpose at the center and heart in the lead, or with anyone who could use a dose of positivity and hope for a brighter future. For deeper connection, resources, and community, visit heartlinknetwork.com. We'll see you on the next episode of The HeartSeat.